Boom, here we are again, the Happy No Fear podcast, and I'm your host, Chase, recording from my studio here in Los Angeles. Today's guest is a very, very interesting artist who I really love his work because he's a perfectionist. I feel like I'm a little bit the same way. We have this vector fetish, if that's what you want to call it. So without further ado, I present to you Mr. Teddy Kelly. What's up, Teddy?
Hey, how you doing?
Mr. Geometric himself.
Well,
Thanks for coming, man.
oh, thanks for inviting me, dude. I'm fucking stoked to be here.
For sure, man.
Spend some time, talk.
Yes, we
shit.
caught up a little bit before.
Yeah.
And perfectionism, man. What's your trip with it? Because all your stuff is so geometrically perfect. The lines are like
I don't know.
super clean. You're just like me, I think.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you like we were saying earlier. I think that comes with I'm not good at certain things, other things. But before I even say that, I can paint all kinds of shit, right? Realism, all kinds. I thought, since I'm like a really heavy designer as background, and I love Bauhaus and stuff like that. And when I started painting with this stuff, with this direction, I guess you could say that, I was afraid of people be like, oh, you're doing it, you edit it in computer, and then you're going out there and doing it. And I was like, fuck, I need to paint as good as it looks as in the computer.
Yeah, and how do you project?
I project.
Yeah, you got to.
Well,
right?
see,
It's too crazy.
as far as like the skill, I got the skill. It became the thing is, when you take this as a career and you're trying to do jobs, and then you don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
This is the best way to do it in like 2 or 3 days, and you can execute a gigantic mural 3 or 4 days.
That's what blows my mind with your stuff. It's so interesting. In 3 days, you just complete these big walls.
I can do it. If I don't have any help, I'll do 4 days by myself, a big mural.
Yeah.
So that was one of the ways to do it easier and faster. Just projecting, and I like it. And at the end of the day, when you're that kind of person, the process, everybody has their own process. I don't think projecting takes away from your art.
I don't think
because
so.
I'm gonna tell you something. I dare anybody to go out there, trace, and then fucking paint.
I
Never
dare him too.
So it's like, it's not that easy either way. The projection is not perfect.
Right.
You have to projection.
You gotta finish it. Yeah, I like it because I just started doing it kind of recently, maybe like 18, 20 years ago. No, I'm kidding. Maybe like 3-4 years ago, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? This is so much easier because when the sketch is laid out on the wall,
Right.
the proportions, you place it just the way you want it. And at least you have that and you don't have to spend like a day or 2 days sketching.
It's like
this huge
placement,
thing.
right?
Yeah, placement, exactly.
Yeah. So when the murals I haven't project, I take a little longer.
Yeah.
But then also they're more like a free how do you say it? A freestyle.
Yeah.
I go there. I kind of know what I'm gonna do.
Play jazz.
Kinda, yeah. You just go with the flow. You put, you make a composition as you go. So that's also easy, but it's a little more of like thought, to it.
Yeah.
And also the scale changes everything.
It's bananas, and it's a lot of tape too.
Fuck
right?
yeah, dude! I should be sponsored by a tape.
That's what I'm saying. I use a lot of tape too. And what is it? Use the blue tape.
Mm-hmm.
The blue tape's good. Home Depot.
All kinds. See,
Yeah.
I always tell people, because they're like, "Oh, what do you use this and that? Like, you just need this," and I'm like, "Dude, every fucking wall, and you know this. Everybody that paints walls, every wall is a different monster.
Yeah,
it's a different. It has to do everything with even humidity."
Humidity, salt in the air and shit. Yeah.
The paint, that how many layers has been painted, like all kinds of factors that when you go in there is like, it's not what you think. And that's what scares me when I travel. When I go paint a mural somewhere else, and then they're like, oh, here's a photo. I was like, fuck yeah, but I don't know how this is gonna react.
Do you travel with blue tape?
No, I don't. I buy everything.
When I go to Europe, they got shitty tape out there. They only got like masking tape, like the yellow one.
Yeah.
So my suitcase is always filled with blue tape.
Yeah.
I mean, not filled.
That's a good
quarter filled.
That's a good tip.
$150 worth of blue tape.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can do. See, you see, those
Oh, yeah.
I will go through 2 sets of which is I think six
The
of
six
the
pack.
thicker, yeah,
You
6
save
pack.
a couple bucks.
So
yeah.
I do 12 on a big
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, yeah. That's
And I
nice.
have a bunch of the like leftovers, so I use that too.
And you know what I just learned, which is a good tip, I guess. Pro tip alert. When because I did a wall inside somewhere, and the lines need to be like perfectly curved.
Oh yeah, I
Right?
got a trick. For
And
that.
and the trick is just to really thin. The thinner the tape,
Yeah.
right? The easier you can curve
yeah.
it. I was
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
that with
yeah.
like 2.5-inch tape. The
You
really
can do
wide
that
one.
too, but it takes a little longer.
Yeah, but the
And
thin one is it's like the pinstriping technique, kind of.
Yeah,
you
so
know
I-
that thin tape.
I got that down.
Yeah.
I was looking at cars, like in YouTube cars.
That's how where I got
painters,
it from.
And then I was trying to look for that tape, but then I found like the regular Scotch tape.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thin
yeah.
one.
The thin one, the green one.
Dude, I fucking people are like, how do you make circles? And I'm like,
Yeah. Hey,
here you go.
the secret to
You
my
know?
success.
And also when it's a big mural, the circles are easier because even if it's a slightly
the eye makes it more
Yeah,
perfect
yeah,
from a
yeah.
distance.
Yeah. The bigger it is, the easier it is to paint, I think.
Yeah.
And you have more frame for error. But space for error, I don't know how you fucking say it. But yeah, I mean, that tape saved my life. That's why
That tape is fucking everything.
Yes.
Because there's no other way to reach, like, your stuff is so geographic. And I have the
Geometric.
privilege of seeing them up
Geometric.
close,
Yeah.
and it's sharp as a motherfucker. It
Yeah,
looks
well,
like
that's my own. That's for myself. I do that for my own. How do you say it?
pleasure.
Pleasure. Yeah, but I could just do it super quick and fast and not
Yeah.
give a fuck and get paid and leave.
Yeah.
But that's not the point what I do things. And so I really want to do it for myself.
Yes.
And I'm
I
a little
can-
maniac, so
it's
like
the-
just like you.
I am also a super maniac, crazy maniac. Because like sometimes I'll be on a wall, and let's say it's a pretty big wall, and I'm like, fuck, there's a little overspray here, or that line, this part of the line
fuck.
is wrong. So I'll stay there for like, I don't know, 12 minutes, like per little area where I needed to perfect it. Because
Yeah.
I want it to be like when you zoom in on Illustrator to the vector, I want it to be like that.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
And then I'm thinking like, what the fuck am I doing here? No one's gonna see this shit.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, okay, wake up, and then I look at the rest of the wall. I'm like, damn, I still got a lot of work to do.
It depends on the mood, the mood I am, and then also how much time I have. If I'm traveling and I only have certain amount of days, which it might sound like for some people they're starting. Remember that we've been in this thing for like already I don't know 15 years.
Yeah, you started painting walls heavy like 15 years ago, right?
Not heavily, but yeah, it
Right.
built up obviously, right? But it was painting in general,
Right, yeah.
and you get to this point where we're blessed to be in this point where we can just live out, make a living out of this, and actually the time it's a big factor because you're trying to get to one place, make a really nice piece, and then go somewhere else right away. This summer I was doing back-to-back walls and the time fucking stresses the shit out of me.
I think
So-
I think I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Woodward.
Yeah, I did
trip.
all the woodwork.
Yeah.
So
I did that last year.
oh yeah, you did. That's true.
It was crazy
Oh,
because it seems
fuck.
like, oh, this is cool. You get to go to 4 parts of the country. You got like what 3-4 days in every spot.
Yeah.
And
And
then-
you guys as many days as you want. I just said, I want to do it in 3 days.
Right.
So
But it's grueling,
dude, that big wall
like
that.
to do. You did it in a month or something, also.
Yeah, a month
that's
and a
what I
half,
did,
or
yeah.
no more. But I have to go
It's
back.
the Woodward trip.
I have to go back
Why?
because they want me to do another one at PA. So I
Oh,
have-
but you didn't
I
go to
did two.
Pennsylvania yet.
huh?
You didn't go to Pennsylvania one yet.
No, I did. So I did that one,
Oh, you were
I
gonna do
did
a
a big
second one
one.
there.
and then I did another big one in Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Because but the thing is with those people is like they're like, okay, you're gonna paint here and this is the specs, and then when I got there,
It's different specs.
no bro, it was huge. It was double or triple the size. So
That's how they
I
get
only
you.
bought certain amount of paint and I had certain amount of time. And that's what I'm saying. Like those are the projects when you become a professional and you're doing this for a living. It's not that I just want to go paint and get paid and leave
Yeah.
and because I don't have passion with it. No.
You adjust.
The fucking thing is you go there and then you already have a time frame so you can develop the project,
Right.
do the whole thing with certain amount of time. And then you get there and everything's changed. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah,
what the fuck? And there's not I realize I love, to work with people I respect. I don't complain a lot. I just go get the shit done and don't talk too much. But I was pissed because I was like, motherfuckers, you guys, they're not giving you the right info. And you get in there and you have a fucking big old task, and you want the shit to look good. So it's like,
Yeah, because in the end, when you do a job and all of a sudden it's different, the conditions are different, then it looks bad
I'm
on you,
stressing
right?
as fuck.
In the end, because you're leaving it behind.
But I mean, I'm talking about stress within the love for doing the thing. You know,
Right.
at the end of the day, you still love the shit, but those are the problems you encounter, and that's the nature of the beast. You have to be ready. You have to be
To adjust, yeah.
Yeah, and then like that one, the first one I did was in
Problem solving.
Tehachapi,
Yeah.
and that thing was three times, almost 3 times bigger than what they told
Tehachapi,
me.
yeah, I went there
Bro,
too.
and I made it through with the paint.
Yeah. Shouts to
Through the
Woodward.
last-
Shouts to Woodward.
Yeah.
Shouts to Neil Hendricks.
Yeah. Dude, fucking the last drop of each can, I just finished it. I was
Wow.
like, fucking A.
Man, there's nothing worse. Like when I was a kid and I got started, and I'd be at a wall somewhere, probably illegal sometimes or sometimes legal. When I'd run out of a color, it was the biggest like pet peeve. So I said to myself, one day I'm gonna have 3 extra.
Yeah.
And so now when I go to a wall, I have like 20 extra
Yeah, I
cans
do too.
always.
But then the other problem is like you end up with a million cans, and then like I start chipping them back, and now I'm like, fuck this, I can't, because now I got the problem we were talking about.
What do you mean
like,
shipping them back?
ship them home? Like
Oh, the
leftovers.
cans, yeah.
So now I give them back, like I give them to the kids or whatnot,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
stuff like that. But when I was shipping them back, I ended up having a million cans at home, which I use some, but you don't go through all of those in the studio doing smaller pieces.
Yeah. Look, those 1, 2, 3,
Yeah,
4 boxes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
So-
about 300 cans, half full or quarter full. And then when I start a piece, normally I should use that box, but I always go to the brand new ones.
Yeah, and me too. So this is the thing. That's the thing. It's like the pressure is different.
First world problems.
The pressure is the pressure is different, and I'm not using that because I really want, because when you're doing pieces like this, smaller, you want the paint to be, the coat to be perfect.
Yeah.
The pressure changes, and sometimes it just spits like some
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I hate that. So I end up not using those, and they end up in my garage or in the studio, and then my wife is like, "You have like a million fucking cans, get rid of them," and it's like a bump.
Yeah.
It's but
Yeah.
too many.
Yeah, I got a
decisions.
good tip. There's a couple of homies on Venice Beach, the boardwalk. They're
Mhm.
mostly homeless guys. I always go there and I give them to the artists.
I should
there.
do that.
You should do that.
I have
I
a
do that
bunch
like
right now.
regularly, and
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
can help them out. That
I
way.
see. I know that other people sell them for like $1.
Nah, come on.
Some people do that.
Yeah.
I heard. I'm not. Gonna
But
say
then you're
that.
dealing with like random hoodlums coming to the house.
I don't even have.
Hey,
time
man,
To do that.
how much for the
not in
whole
my
box?
house. Fuck no. I don't even have time for that.
Yeah, no, come
honestly.
on. No, that's what I do because those guys, they have a rough life, and when you give them like a box of like quarter fulls,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know 80 cans in there. Their
That's a great
eyes
idea.
light up. They can't. It's like a gift from God to them. So
Totally. No,
that's
I
great.
never thought about it. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just go.
So Mazatlan, you were born in Mazatlan,
No, it's a funny thing. I
or
was
you were born
actually-
here,
I was born in the States. I was actually born in Tucson, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona.
And the reason why is because my mom's family is from Los Angeles, and they, they're immigrants as well. They're Swiss, German, and
Your papa was Swiss.
my grandfather, yeah,
Your grandfather, yeah.
And so he got sick, and then he went to Arizona because it's very dry. And from Mazatlan to come here, driving back then, because we used to drive all the time, we just drive to Tucson since it's like an 11-hour drive, straight line up north. And my parents, my mom's parents were pretty wealthy, and back then they bought houses for their nephews and sons
No shit.
in a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
So I used to come to Los Angeles before in Anaheim and in Orange County to visit, and then when they moved over there, we just go to Tucson because we would just be there, and I'll be there for 2 months, and then we'll drive all the way here and go to Disney and do the whole California experience.
So you've been in and out of LA since you were like 1 year old.
since I was born, basically.
Yeah.
So that's the access to the culture that I had that not a lot of people had when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I was a different kid. I had a weird name because I had a white ass name, and
Teddy Kelly.
well, my real name is Edward Kenneth Kelly.
Wow.
And I have 2 names, and then my last names are Kelly Scherb,
Yeah.
Scherb, which is very German or Swiss.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's where I grew up, and it happened that city, when my great grandfather came from my dad's side, which is I'm 4th generation Irish from that side.
Yeah.
They kind of established there before everybody got there, and we were a big family there, and it's a very surfing and skate driven spot because it's a touristic destination.
Yeah.
And I grew up literally. I could throw a rock to this reef, and it's a left.
Reef.
A reef.
Yeah.
It's a left. It's a perfect left, and I just start surfing there and skateboarding.
And where was that? Where was the reef?
Mazatlan. It's called Los Pinos.
Espinos.
It's called the Cannon because there's in front of my house there was a military fort with a cannon.
Right.
So it's called Cannon.
The Cannon. So you can do toes on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't longboard as much. It's more of a shortboarder.
Yeah.
So in skateboarding, I kind of stopped skating when the whole street thing was happening.
That's like
Because
early 90s.
Yeah, but I was surfing more, and the streets in our town weren't that good.
It's difficult. Yeah.
It's difficult. So I started surfing more and leaning more to surfing. And then you can think. I mean, if you think about it, I was skating more when it was Bert's. When Bert was
the whole soy days,
the bowls.
So
I love skating.
You used
bowls.
to carve in bowls and stuff.
Yeah, I still do.
No shit, man.
Here and there.
That's one thing. I'm like a street skateboarder. I never got into that stuff.
No, I love that. See,
we didn't have access to it.
It's crazy because a lot of people are more about street skaters, and then when I go to the transitions or bowls, I love bowls. I don't skate as much as I want to, and in fact, I haven't even skated in a fucking while now. But
tell the truth.
I have my setup. Huh?
I'm kidding.
No, no, dude. I see. Give me a couple days and I'll be back.
You got ollies and shit.
Yeah.
For sure. You got tricks.
Yeah, but I do more. Like I like fucking just doing bowls. Like I love backsmiths.
Yeah.
That's my
no
favorite
shit
trick.
in a bowl. That's hard shit, man.
Yeah. So
that's
stuff old school shit like that. I just like to cruise.
That's fun, though,
I'm not trying to like impress nobody. I'm just trying to flow and cruise and just get out there and do exercise and have fun. It's just like surfing straight up. Surfing is I'm in love with surfing. I have to be surfing no matter what. I've been sick for like 3 weeks and I haven't been able to get in the water. But
and usually, like, how often do you go surfing?
Whenever I can.
Yeah.
This is the thing. It's like, so this art is what you do all day long.
Yeah.
And obviously it's my passion in my job basically. But if I'm not doing that, if I have the chance to travel and go to Baja, or I live in San Clemente at Trestles.
Yeah.
That's a famous surf spot. So I get to walk to the beach.
That's nuts.
It's in front of my house.
It's nice surfing.
Yeah, I moved from here because I was like, fuck, dude, I need to be back in the water. And here in Santa Monica, the prices are insane.
And now when you come to LA, it's like dirty and shit here. Huh?
Well, LA, I mean,
it feels a little dirty.
It's not as many as good spots. I mean, you can go to Malibu and stuff, but I like the beach breaks more.
Right. Yeah.
I'm that kind of about that kind of style. So I get to do it there. It's there now. I can be painting and designing or be in my house, get up and just jump in the water.
Yeah.
You can't do that here.
It's bananas, man.
Yeah. So that's where I come from. That's where I grew up, Mazatlan, and it's pretty dope.
Nice, man.
I want to do something there. Maybe I can take you on there.
Man, it'd be nice, yeah. A good friend of mine now lives in
Guadalajara
Guadalajara.
is dope.
How far is that from Mazatlan?
6 hours.
I love by bicycle or by foot?
No, it's a 2-hour flight. It's or an hour flight, I think, and then it's a 6-hour drive. But dude, the whole coast down there, like you can drive. There's if you go through the coast, it's beautiful, and then if you go to Guadalajara itself, there's more things going on as well as Mazatlan. But when I start painting, besides the core graffiti, there was not really this thing happening.
Right.
So I was probably one of the few people first, especially from there, that started doing this.
Yeah, and probably left a little wake, to put a surf reference in there.
I'm not trying to claim shit because I don't care, but definitely I can see kids coming up or new artists, and I know they got this. They're looking.
No, it's really cool because you got to really. I like it because. I think a little bit the same, but in that same quadrant, but a little different. Like I think you have a design approach to walls, right? And a lot of time, like I like to think that way too.
Yeah.
And I think it's super cool. It's super cool.
Thank you.
It's super cool, man. So switching over a little bit to you've done so much work with all these brands and stuff, Hot Wheels, Vans, like all kinds of really cool brands. When you work with those kind of companies, they just find you, don't they?
See, that's the other thing. It's kind of funny, but I never, before I had my website, which is under construction right now, I'm trying to get I'm building a new one. I never had anything marketing wise. I started late on the Instagram game, so I think it's just I'm a very spiritual guy, and I might not look like one, but I am really. So I think that there's a reason why I'm doing this, and the thing that comes to me and the jobs and everything is because I'm real, and I'm doing the job. I'm putting the time into it. I'm hoping, and I know that the people that actually look at art and read the line works, that I believe in that a lot. Even your artwork, your composition, everything tells something, and I just let that speak for itself, and that's how I think the jobs come to me. Because
What do you wish that people can understand from your art?
you know what, I hope that people are inspired. I'm that kind of guy. If you know me, I always give. I like to give. I never ask for anything. I like to help because I think that's just my mom is like that. They're very like given family, and I just learned like that. And I know I have the this side, which is the skill, the all this art side. So for me, that giving it gives me more than receiving, right?
Yeah.
So
wow, that's beautiful.
yeah. So it's like when I'm doing that, I think people can perceive that, and that's it. I mean, see, I'm gonna tell you something. I grew up with money, and then while I was growing up, we lost a lot of money. So I've seen both sides, So for me, I checked that out. It's checked on the box. So I'm no longer worried about money.
You already know what it's like to have everything,
right? Exactly.
And then now, like that's cute, but that's not part of your goal.
So I'm worried about doing things that I like because I don't wanna die and be like, fuck, I wish I did this. And I wanted my daughter to understand that and to see when she knows already that she paints. It's crazy. Nice, and I want her to be like, fuck, my dad is crazy. He's doing this. How cool is it? Look at his friends. Imagine my dad used to take me around in his career, in his profession.
What did your dad do?
He is a zoologist.
A zoologist?
Zoologist.
Interesting.
So he raised cattle and Swiss cattle. And he has a dairy and all that kind of shit. But he worked for the government. He built programs for the government for the land, to build it, to work the land, and to do all this kind of shit. So I always admire him because he's one of those guys that study masters and shit. And like he will take me around, and I will be like, fuck, everybody liked him and shit like that. So I perceive a lot of that stuff. So I want to do that for a living, but my dad is like, don't do this. This is not anymore.
That's what I tell everyone now when you want to be an artist. I'm like, nah. Don't do it.
Yeah. So I chose to do this. My parents always let me do whatever I want. So I'm going back to your question is this is what I want people to perceive and take from me when I design and paint as what I took from my dad, and he inspired me. And there's nothing.
And what was that?
What was what?
What is it that you took from it? Is that he just loved what he did?
The passion that he had. He got.
That's contagious.
Yeah, the passion. Everybody knew him. I traveled with him. We went and bought cattle like in Canada.
Shit.
Yeah, just crazy shit because he was an expert in what he did.
Yeah,
and that really I wanted to be like him. And now I tell him it's like, oh, I always wanted to be like you, but then I surpass you.
or you just did it differently.
Yeah, no, right? Yeah, but
equal passion, perhaps, but you did it differently.
Yeah, I fuck with him, and but that's an inspiration. I was like, my dad is a really productive person, and he left something. He has a book, that stayed in school, not like a book published, but he was in magazines and shit, and I saw that. And then I kind of follow. I think that's what I'm the way I am.
It's nice to have a good example like that in your life.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing in my work. I want people to receive that from my work, and that's it. The rest is like whatever happens. I think we talked about this. I feel blessed already. Yeah. And whatever comes to me is a cherry on top of another cherry.
Yeah. On top of 2 ice creams.
Yes. So it's like how what more can you ask? And then,
that's right.
Yeah.
And then that's I like that. I like that you say that because when I first kind of got started, I was putting a lot of like inspired by Guru and then the Far Side. Shouts to Fat Lip, who's out on the rooftop right now. Maybe we'll get him on the mic in a second. But I was inspired by Tribe and all these messages. Positivity is the key in the lock. Those lyrics spoke to me. So when I started painting in the street, I put all these messages out in the street. But now I'm moving away from that because I got older. And now I want to create a vibe. I want to create like a happy feeling through color and through like some psychedelic elements. And I catch the same thing with you. Right. Which is beautiful.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like we're very similar in that sense because you already have it. Like we talked about this earlier. You already did it. And I think you're just adding more to what the greatness of your work. So it's like that's how I perceive things, and the way you establish those words and have you done it through the city. which is very evident. And when I came to LA back in the day, you were definitely one of the first person I saw everywhere. Before this is things that a lot of people don't know, but before a lot of people came to the zine, you were already out there.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would go to Miguel's thing, and you would be fucking everywhere. I was like, what the fuck? It's like, and
That's
then
your
you
boy.
be somewhere else. Yeah.
That's your boy.
So it's like, things like that. Then I'm like, like we said, like we know a lot of the same people because I was right behind you, but we're raised in this community, and our art it was born here.
Yeah. So, it was, it really was, and that's like LA facilitates,
totally,
and LA is special like that.
Totally.
Because Milwaukee, for example, does not facilitate so much.
Yeah,
I don't know why I thought of Milwaukee.
I agree. That's why Los Angeles is such a great place for people to come and get inspired. But I always feel, and I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or nothing, but you have a responsibility when you do that. You are here, and if you're not real, your shit will not transcend. That's what I think. And like I said, there's strengths that come and go, but to survive through the time with this, you gotta be real.
Yeah, we were talking about that just before we started recording. Because we've been around a little bit. Kind of like almost for like a generation almost. When you think about what's a generation? 15, 20 years? It's something like that.
Well, after 10 years, you're already fucking doing a lot of things.
So we were talking how there's like there's been a lot of hype waves, especially in LA, but also worldwide. And then,
which is good for art.
It's good. I love to see it. And there's a lot of energy, that pops up. But it pops up out of some people, but it pops up maybe for like a year and a half, for 2 years.
We gotta be careful because it's also cruel. You see a lot of people popping and trying and being desperate and trying to cash out, and then shit hit the fence, and then everybody disappears. I was talking to you about that whole Banksy thing. He came up, obviously Shepard was already around, and he's a different type of monster, but fuck, dude, I saw that thing happening, and that because of that, I didn't want to do stencils. I was like, that's not my thing.
Yeah,
I'm doing my own thing, and I'm always been like that. But I saw a lot of people just falling
copying
for
that,
and that's fine. Like
that formula.
If you're gonna copy, that's fine.
Yeah, but do it better.
Do it better.
That's one of the things that I saw early on. One of the things that made my eyes open was to travel to Amsterdam when I was like 14, 15. It was like an hour and a half away. Place. We took the homies, we went over there, and we had our little graph scene in Belgium and in Antwerp.
Right.
And then there was, we got to Museum Plaza, and Delta. I don't know if you remember Delta.
Yeah.
He's Boris Stelligan. Shout out to Boris Stelligan from Amsterdam. Great master, working to this day.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first guys to do 3D, like proper 3D. Not just wild style with a thickness to it, but like proper 3D.
But with stencil, you mean?
No. But I'm going to get to the point. And so he did a piece fully 3D. It was like an object. The letters were object and interlocking and bits coming out, bits and doodads coming out. And next to it, it was like painted on the back of a ramp. And next to it, it says, bite some style, but do it better. Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's like 93.
Bro, when I started painting, when I took some classes, I didn't really know. I was like, I could do this for a living. So I was just trying and starting. And I like Camille Rose Garcia. Shout out to her. I love her work. I love Disney stuff. It's a very dark, version of Disney characters.
She's great.
Yeah, she's great. And so they used to call me Teddy Rose Garcia, but I was just learning. And I know for a fact, in the natural way, not everybody obviously, but the natural way when you start doing things, you absorb certain styles and develop your own as you go, which is totally fine. If the people tell you, oh, you're copying, who cares? If you are fucking committed to go through this and develop your shit, then it's totally fine. That's just a natural process of things. You can't just be like, you can't hate because you were there before. You have to be aware of that, and or at least I am. I don't hate, but I look and I don't get excited, and I'm not just. And I'm gonna say again, I'm not a Debbie Downer. I don't get excited because I know shit can last 5 seconds and that's it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck, dude, like you're wasting your time.
Yeah, and we were talking about that too before, which is like at the end of the day, there's possibilities for growth. There's possibilities to earn a good living. There's a possibility to fucking get rich. That possibility exists. But if that's what you're focused on, I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
If that's your focus, man, then you're dealing with the wrong focus.
Yeah, it's hard because dude, this career will fuck you up. It's like if you're trying to do that if you're looking for that, then you're not gonna really create something deeper and beautiful and like there's other there's all kinds of art though. You sometimes people are like, oh, you have to be this way or that way. It doesn't matter. I mean,
it's subjective. Everyone
at
has
least
their own.
in what I'm trying to do, this is the way I think it should be done in my own way, and I don't look at other people's work to do my own. I look at other people's work to get inspired and to just be. But I don't worry about what's going on or this guy blew up. I don't give a fuck. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, most likely we always end up doing a show next to the dude, right? Or the other people. As long as they're cool, I'm okay with it. I've done so many projects with bigger dudes, and I see their egos, and I've seen the drama happening within the project, and I'm like, oh shit. I mean, that thing discouraged me.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, when you have bones and skin, like in flesh, like you're the same as me. But if you're trying to be an asshole, then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was in Paris one time, and it was, I think, like my third or fourth trip to Paris, and I was with a friend there, and he's a really cool guy, and the Parisians are like pretty snobby. So we went to some Nike event, and this guy is like really contributing to the culture there, and for some reason they didn't give him his respect. So I was in a cab, and I tell the story to the cab driver, and the cab driver was like, but he was like African, French, and he told me, moi je fais caca, tu fais caca.
What's that?
Tout le monde fait caca, et c'est comme ça. And what that means is, I take a shit, you take a shit, they take a shit, and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, man.
Basically, your shit stinks too.
That's yeah, exactly. And so when he said that, but coming from this regal presence of this cab driver, I was like, man, I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And I guess now I'm telling you.
But it's, art is crazy. And I at the end of the day, I enjoyed every angle of it. I just pick my battles and pick my people.
Yeah.
And do me, and I help when I can.
Do you, boo boo?
Yeah. And I help when I can and do my thing. I try to just live because I'm, like I said, I'm happy. So I don't give a fuck.
And if you gotta do it, you gotta do it, whatever that is.
By the way, you just remind me when you were talking about Amsterdam. Dame?
Dime, from Germany, yeah. Killer.
He's one of my favorite artists in the world. Like I've been inspired by him forever.
And for people that are listening, that's you may not know because this is kind of like pre-social. But look him up. It's DAIM. I think he's from Hamburg.
He's insane. He's the
Germany.
Crazy. He has some videos.
Take a look at some of that shit.
He has some Bibmo or Bedmo or whatever. No, not Bedmo.
What's that?
Bimo? What's the name of that? But he has some crazy videos out there in one of those platforms.
Man, this guy
will blow your mind.
It's nuts.
It will blow your mind.
Yeah, so check that out. Yeah. Cool. We got some guests coming in from the rooftop. Teddy, I think we got it, man.
Okay.
I think we got it. You're welcome back any fucking time. Okay, I'm a big fan. We're a big fan.
Same here.
It was so nice to get to sit down with you, and we're gonna collaborate on a print.
Yes, we are. Soon we'll have it ready.
That's right.
Yeah, fucking get everything done. But yeah, thanks for inviting me, dude.
No worries, man.
I'm always down to come and hang out with you.
For sure, man. Much love to you.
Yeah.
My man.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
That's it, folks. Peace. And bam, that was Mr. Teddy Kelly. What a guy. Take a look at his work. Really enjoyed talking with him. As always, you can find us on Instagram at Happy No Fear. And of course, you can find me at The Art of Chase on Instagram as well. And we'll see you next week. Peace.